All right, I'm back. I blew up the world, and then I restarted the computer, and this is the wireless cam. I unplugged the other one I had going. Look at this one's really like, wow. You know what I could do? Let me, I'm gonna change this. Yeah, that's good. I could, no, I'm gonna leave it wide like that. Just because if we take it and put it somewhere, I don't like the color though. Eek ads. Can I get into the configure? Whatever. Good enough. That'll do for now. And let's see. So let's see. This one. If I take this one and I do a copy, I go to video arcades and I do a paste a reference. There I am. And then I go to this one. And this one I think I have to do a video capture, add existing, wireless, POW, and then I do this, so we slide it down here. And this one's working, that one's working. Yep, hello. Okay, that one's working, great. I think I've done it. The other ones aren't glitching. Except for the color on this one, I don't really like that. Like I need to, I guess it's all right. It's not too big. So this is connected wirelessly to the computer. It is currently plugged into USB and charging. That USB is plugged into the computer. I could actually pull that cable down. I have an outlet down here. I can just run a standard, just a wall wart that it plugs into. That frees up another USB on that. Good, I think we're good. I don't necessarily need to have this wired USB camera here. I can take that and we can move it. I wonder, would I get the bandwidth because I'm just using USB headers on the motherboard itself. I wonder if I got an add-on USB card, would that give me more bandwidth for USB devices? I don't know. I have space on this board. I could put in 2 or 3 card slots there. I'm not using an external, I'm not using a video card, I'm just using the video that's on the board itself. There's 2 HDMI ports on it. Wow. That's a pretty crazy board. I don't actually know what board that is. It's got 2 HDMI ports on the board, plus a DVI, plus a VGA. And then there's what else is on here? There's a network port. It's got a Wi-Fi. There's a SPDIF out optical. It actually has a round USB mouse keyboard port. It's got a whole shit ton of USB on it. Onboard sound. I don't remember what board that is. And it's not a... It's the CPU that's in there. The CPU in this one. Oh, there's my camera. This is what I was looking for. Cancel, 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 cancel. All right, it opened up in this window. This PC, if I go to properties, this is Intel i5 4670. That's a 3.4 gigahertz. It is 4-core. 8 gigs of RAM. So not a ton of RAM in there. I could probably throw more in there. All right, let me try something else because I don't like the colors of this. Whilst I'm doing this, nobody's here anyway. Nobody's on the stream right now because I blew everybody out of the water. I apologize. Let me go to the wireless cam. I go to properties. I go to configure video. That opens up over here because I have 2 stupid monitors on here. And then I can go back over here. All right. Brightness, contrast, hue. I want to try to get rid of some of that weird color. I guess the white balance, oh, white balance is set to auto. That look a little bit better. That's not so green, is it? And I could probably dial the brightness back just a touch. Contrast back. Camera control, focus, exposure. I can auto expose. No, I don't want to auto expose. And the focus, I'll leave the focus on auto. Turn off low light compensation. I'm green again. Look at that. I am green again. How did that happen? Let's change it to 60 hertz. What happens with that? Apply. Okay. Yeah, whatever. I'll mess with that later. That's fine. That's fine. All right, good. I've got my cameras working. Now, let's hope it works reliably. See, and then if I want to do something, I just reach up here. I unplug the USB. I am now on wireless, and I can go adventuring. Cool, huh? And then I'm done adventuring. I'm done playing a game. I come back over here. I plug it back in. I hang it back up here. I need to get oh, I don't like that at all. I need to have a better way to attach this. I wonder if I'm gonna try. I've got this. This has a threaded tripod mount. Has that? I don't. That's really yellow or really green. I apologize. Let me turn this. That's better. This camera has a threaded tripod mount on it. I have some threaded tripod stuff. I wonder. There behind this, my old camera is hooked up to a tripod armature dealio kind of thing. But I want this to be more mobile. I don't want to have to unscrew it. So I wonder if I just got some magnets. And I glued some magnets onto a couple of threaded tripod bolts. Yeah. Threaded tripod screws. Then I could screw one into the tripod thingy that I want, and then same with on this one, but to attach them and detach them, I'm just using magnets. So I have one here, magnet clip on the. I have a special tripod that I will set up for this. Clip it on. This thing doesn't weigh hardly anything. And if we're going to go for a couple of hours and film something for a couple of hours at a game, I might plug this into a wireless battery So if it comes unclipped from the magnet tripod-y dealio, the cable for the wireless will catch it, because this really doesn't weigh anything. Although it would have a magnet on it, it might pop up. I don't know. I'll have to try. I'll play around with that. I'll have to see if that works. All right, so I've got this fixed, and I think I am going to call it quits, because we are coming up at 10, and it looks like really not a whole lot of people joined me back in chat after I destroyed the world goofing around last time. But I got this working. That makes me feel better. So I'm going to end the stream. Thanks for coming back, and there are a couple people watching it, so thanks for coming back and watching it. Yeah, I'm going to go, and I might fire this up tomorrow. We'll test it again tomorrow and play around with it. Just because I want to see if this is going to work for me. I really like the idea of having a couple of wireless cameras that I can place anywhere. And maybe if we have some good traffic tomorrow, I'll bring in some tripods tomorrow. I'll play around with it, and maybe we'll play some Canadian rules bar billiards, which is a new thing that we've come up with. Oh, there's a couple people. There's JRSC and Luke have popped in to say hello. I don't know. Are you guys want to hang out for a little bit longer? Because I'm down for it. I'm here for another hour. So if you want to just hang out and chat, we can do that. I'm happy to do that. While I wait for a response, I'm going to go and we have a game on. I don't know. I hear it over there. I have to go and stop it. It's driving me nuts. JRSC says, yeah, sure. Okay, I'll hang out for a little bit longer. We were talking about something earlier, but I don't remember what it was because I got distracted. Oh, I was looking up. That's right. Hold on. On the browser, I had looked up. What's going on here on my browser? A game. What was that stupid? What was the game that I looked up? Hold on, maybe history will get me back there. History. Bonanza Brothers. That's what it was. Browser. Oh, look, I'm not here though. Where am I? Wait, come back. Add. Video capture device. Add existing. Wireless cam. Pow, there I am. All right, we'll do that. We'll move me over here. Great. Bonanza Brothers. This is the one that I don't know about. Let's look at this. No sound, because I can't hear it anyway. Main fan. Let's just go to here. I like the graphics of this. It's cool. It's different. You're supposed to shoot those people? Is that like a guard? Is that it? It looks like, yeah, I guess you're supposed to shoot them, yeah. Hit him with a door. Oh, this is cool. Pew! Oh, he's twitching. Oh, I love it. I've never seen this game. I've never ever seen this game. Oh, we go back. They throw bombs or something, or they're throwing them at you. All right, that's pretty cool. I have to go and stop this. Hold on a second. That's a pretty cool game. I've never seen that game. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna have to try and play it. How'd you do?
I lost.
Well, someone has to.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I looked up columns. Columns look like it had different. So Tetris has the different shapes, but that one looked like it had different. Was it different shapes, and within those shapes are different colors? So you had to get. What is it? That there's that Mario, Dr. Mario. Is that what it's called? That's kind of like that too. It's oh god, now I gotta go back to the Bowser. Let's look it up. Stack columns. All right, let's look at this. Let's just jump forward, shall we? Let's see some gameplay. Okay, so they come down. Okay, so they come down in different groups, just a line, not different shapes, but just a line with different colors stacked together. And then you have to get 3 in diagonal or horizontal. Okay, got it. I played a variation of this, not an older one, it's a newer one. I forget what it was called, but it was similar, yeah. Bonanza Brothers, okay, JRSC says Bonanza Brothers is 2 robbers, 1 or 2 players, robbing a department store, and you have to collect various items, gold, jewelry, etc., up to about 6 items per level, then escape to the roof. Okay. And it looked like the little pew-pew gun doesn't actually kill him, it just knocks him out. And then there was a bomb or something that someone was throwing at you and some other things. It's cool, it looks cool. I like unusual games like that, and I like ones that have sort of slightly different artwork. That they don't just look like the regular type thing. I really want a Virtua Fighter. That low polygon character I think is really cool looking that they did on that. And same with like the first was it Time Crisis? Had that sort of low polygon looking character that I thought I think is really cool. I would love to get a Time Crisis in here, mostly because I've played it, I like it, but I've never put enough money into it to go very far. So I figured I would save money, I'll just buy one, and then I play it for free. And then I can play it all the way to the end, right? That's using your noggin. Yeah, I would love to get a Time Crisis. I would also the video game that is high on my list of games that I want to get is Silent Scope. There was just something cool about that game. I really like that game. And again, it was one of those ones. It might be a real dog. I everywhere that I went to play it, it was usually $1 or $2 a game, and I would continue a couple of times, and but I never went very far in it. So as far as I know, you'd only get so far and it sucked. I don't know. People seem to like it though, but you hardly ever see them around. And that's one that I'm a little unsure about because you need the scope, right? You need that little TV and the scope to work, the little CRT and the, because I think that's like the little actual CRT type devices that were in old video camcorders. I don't think that's an LCD that's in there. It might be. It's been a long time since I've seen one. If it's an LCD, I guess it's probably not as bad. It's probably repairable, or maybe they don't die that much, but Luke says he's playing Stray at the moment. Don't know what that is. Is that a computer game? JRSC says Time Crisis, Virtual Fighter, and Silent Scope. I remember seeing them all in the arcade. Be lucky to see one now. Yeah, there's a place on the island. It's called Yippie's Playcade. I actually made a video on it. They're a different type of arcade. They're only open in the summer. They're primarily a redemption arcade, but they do have a Silent Scope there. But it's a later one. It's like 4, I think. I played it for a little bit. That was the first time I had ever played it. That later version. It was cool, right? A couple people I know have. A guy I know has a Virtua 2, big beast of a thing. It's in his basement. He had to take it apart and put it back together again because it's got that giant cabinet for the big screen. He had to take that all apart to get it in there and then reassemble it. I haven't seen a Silent Scope since the last time I played it, which was probably 2002. I haven't seen one of those in forever. I don't remember the last time I saw a Virtual Fighter. I figured a Virtual Fighter would show up, but I haven't run across one for sale. But we do have. So there's a friend of mine on the island is selling. He's selling an Asteroids Deluxe in the cabinet. He has both. He has Asteroids Deluxe. I think they're both Asteroids Deluxe. He has a cocktail table, and he has a cabinet version. And he told me he wanted to get rid of one of those. And my first instinct was the cocktail table. I like cocktail tables, but I'm learning what other arcades say. Cocktail tables suck. They're I love them, but for space-wise, they take up a lot of weird space, and they're filthy. They're always, God, I got something in my eyeball. Oh, it's my finger. They get dirty really quick because it's a big sheet of glass, and people just paw it all night, and so you have to clean the glass on them a couple of times a day. It's not like that on arcades where it's the control panel gets dirty, but the glass on the monitor and stuff, usually you don't have to clean it. Man, what is in my eye? And the other problem with cocktail tables is that it's a different type of space that you have to set aside for them. So there's the one here in this one. There's the Moto USA one right there, whatever the hell that game is called. And I mean, you look, that's one machine. I've got in this row here, there's on one side of the row is a pinball machine, on the other side of the row is an arcade. This one machine is taking the space of basically another pinball machine and another arcade. Just because of the way, I mean, granted, we have stupid giant chairs on there, but it's a hard, you need a special space for that. The other one, that's a wide one. The other two that I have back there are they're the thinner type ones. Those are a little bit better. But yeah, so my first, where I was going with this, my first, when he said that he had both, my first thought was, oh, I want the cocktail table version of it, and then I was like, you know what? No, I want the cabinet version. It actually, I mean, when you're thinking about it, they have that cool mirrored back glass sort of deal going on, so that the asteroids are in the background. They don't do that in the cocktail table, and you can fit it somewhere. So I'm actually what we're doing in here, we're going to move some stuff around, because should we camera safari adventure time, and I'll show you what the plan is. Let's do that. I'm going to move a few things around and make some more space. So the floor plan that I've got going on in here was based on my original rough floor plan when we signed the contract here. Well, it was actually before we signed the contract. I came in, I took some measurements, I took some rough measurements, I laid it out in a floor plan creator. In that, I set up different games and figuring out how I can use this space, how many machines I could put in here, all of this. The square footage is more than twice the size of our old location, but here we have this back room, we have this whole counter space, we have this whole candy store, we have the back room, which is going to be the workshop, and then not included in the square footage is all the upstairs space. So, but we also have to we host our own washrooms here where we didn't in the other space. And then we have another washroom here that is off of this kitchen area. So that's where all of our extra space went. But the square footage of the arcade is, if you just look at the square footage of the arcade, it's still bigger than what we had at the other space, but we don't have more machines in here. Mostly because I brought in bumper pool. So actually, let me get this fired up and I'll show you. So let me go to Camera Safari Adventure Time. There we go. Oh, sorry, this is dirty. That better? That's better. All right, so originally the idea was we were going to go pinball machines all the way to this wall. So this is space for five more pinball machines could fit here. Then this row was going to come all the way down to here. So that's 3 or 4 more pinball machines here. So you'd have this entranceway, pinball machines. Over there, more pinball machines, and then just this area right here was going to be video. We got everything moved in here, and I thought, I want this. I wanted this. I wanted that. I will not put 5 more games in here in this space to have these 2 things, because I thought these would be really popular, and they have been. This has been a good choice. Also, in our area, having just having a whole shit ton of pinball machines is fine, but we don't get a lot of like hardcore pinball players in here. And I don't really want that. I want average. I want just normal people coming in to play games. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense, really, at the end of the day, to continue trying to be Canada's largest pinball arcade, because we really didn't get anything out of that, just having that. So this is a much better thing to have in here, I think. These are better than having more pinball machines. But Terminator was going to sit on the back wall, and then we were going to put, I have a hand sink where I was going to put a sink right here. There's going to be, when this is all done, this will be gone. And then there'll be a piece of glass here that'll go along here so that people can't touch the hot machines and they don't sneeze and get stuff all over my stuff. So I do have a sheet of glass that'll take me to about here. So I have to come up with another something for this space, because this is going to sit about here. There's going to be a hand sink over here, some other stuff. I have a grinder, some other crap is going to be here. So this all needs to, I probably have to glass to at least here. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that yet. But the original plan was I had this little hand sink. It's all plumbed in, so we were going to put a little sink here so people can wash their hands. I thought that would be really cool. You never see that in an arcade. And it's probably a good idea, that because everybody's got their grubby fingers all over this stuff, right? It would be really cool to have a sink in here, but that's not going to work. So this was going to be there was going to be a stair that took you up because the washrooms are right here. So this was just going to be a stairway that went up. When we got in here, that was the first thing to go after we got all the machines in here. We started shoving stuff around. We originally put Terminator here. But we learned early on that didn't work very well, because if someone was playing this guy and someone was playing this guy and two people were shooting this guy, you had no way to get by here. It was really, really tight. Coming by here, you could squeeze by, but it was rude because you'd be rubbing against their butt. So we moved this over. Great. That freed up the whole area. That works. That's not been a problem. But these are really popular. These little old consoles are really popular. So we just got a Wii and a handful of games. I want to put that in this row. So we'll have a place for 3 consoles here. That means this has to go. And I actually originally was going to do that here because there's an outlet on the wall right there, so I could hang a screen on the wall, a bigger screen, and we can put a console here. Great, no problem. So this has to go somewhere. We put this here, this cocktail table here, just for the idea of it. I had a slightly different layout here, but this works here. But I think I can tweak this and I can get more games in here. But this is going to go. This is probably going to go here, where the fainting couch was. And then we can put the new Asteroids cabinet here. And on the other side, we're going to put Valhalla. Valhalla is currently, I have to make sure that I don't bother the people that are in here. So Valhalla is currently here, and then these 2 cocktail tables. So the idea is this will go over there. Genie will probably move into the back row, and I'll grab a thinner machine and put that over here. Give me a little bit of space. Terminator is going to come here, and then these are just going to slide down a little bit. And it won't change this dynamic very much, but that should work. That will allow us to bring in one more arcade and one more cocktail, or one more arcade and one more console without disrupting or getting rid of anything. And then once we get upstairs, up there going, this is going to be the stairwell that takes you upstairs. Then this table in the back, we have to leave this here for parties. That will be able to go away because they'll be able to do their parties upstairs. And then that will change this whole dynamic of this whole space. Whether I mean, there's a little bar right here to stand at. This I called the dance floor before we got open because I thought it was just going to be kind of an open space. We want to leave it open because this is the bay door. We want this open in the summer. But we can put games along here. Or if we got something like if we got one of the big old like a Silent Scope, or not Silent Scope, but like Time Crisis, that would fit right there, right? That would be great right there. So you can put a Time Crisis there and maybe something else on the end, and it would still give you access to the back door and everything. So that's basically the plan. And now here, this is the Kid Nicky one. So the cocktails, once we get upstairs going, and the upstairs is going to be basically about this size. There'll be the air hockey table will be upstairs, so we can put a tabletop on. Sorry, I'm going to move over to this. 4 camera. Yeah, perfect. And then let me change back to this one so I can put my phone down. Awesome. Actually, maybe I'll go to this one. And close that, close that. Perfect. So upstairs, there'll be the air hockey table. That's about, basically it's like 8 feet by 4 feet. I'm gonna make a tabletop for it. So when we have parties, they'll go upstairs. We'll put the tabletop on the air hockey game. They can use that for their cake and pizza and whatever else they're doing. And then upstairs, there'll also be the sit-down cocktail tables. And those can go around the edges, right? And that'll work really well. That's a really good use for those cocktail tables because upstairs, it's just seating. They can, it's just people hanging out and seating and doing their thing. And then when the parties aren't here, then we move the tabletop off of it, and it's people just sitting down up there talking, hanging out, playing, whatever. We might put the fainting couch might go up there. Fainting couch is actually in the back. I was here, I don't remember what day it was, but I got here and it really started snowing like crazy, and I ended up closing. It had been dead, so the streets were horrible. There was just so much snow coming down. I had already shoveled outside like 3 or 4 times, and I closed early. Closed at like 6, and I told Sophia, okay, I'm gonna try and get home. And I got out to the street, and I'm all over the place. I drove about half mile away, and the van was just all over the road, like it was just horrible. So I went basically around went in this big loop, stopped and got some food, and then came back here with some food, and I'm like, I'm spending the night here. So at the old location, we had in a bag. We basically had a bug-in bag. It was a bag that had a pillow, a couple of throw blankets, and an inflatable mattress. So I had found this like funny little fainting couch. I thought, oh, that'll be great to have here. We'll put it in front of one of the consoles. It's comfortable enough to sit there, but not where you're going to want to sit there for a couple hours. That was the original idea for it. But the chairs work better, so we just set the fainting couch thing kind of right behind these 2 machines, and people would sit on whatever. But so I'm like, okay, well, I've got this thing. So I had a big moving blanket and some other stuff, and I pulled it all into the back room because I thought I was going to sleep here. I needed a place to sleep. And I got it all set up, and it was super cozy and comfortable. And I was like, oh, I'll be fine here. I ate my food. I kind of did a couple of little odds and ends around here. I was gonna get it all set up on one of the tablets so I could go to bed and watch a little movie on the tablet. Like I was getting all ready to hunker down for the night. Then it stopped snowing, and I looked down one of the cameras out the back, and the roads looked like they had cleared up. So I went on a little adventure and went looking around, and sure enough, the plows had come, the snow changed, and it took me about 15 minutes longer to get home, but I was able to get home without a problem. So I ended up not staying here. But the fainting couch is actually, I'll show you. I'll go back there and I will show you. It's still all set up, and it looks cozy as hell. Uh-oh, what did I do with my thing? Sorry, you can't see the code. How's that for cozy looking, huh? Like this nice fuzzy blanket. It's a little dark back here, but yeah, so that's what I set up to sleep on. I don't know if that a little bit better? No, not really. Anyway, it looks cozy as shit. And it is. Actually, let me change this back. I'm gonna go look outside. Let's go look outside. I don't know what outside is like at all. It's dry. It's cold. Yeah, nice little pile of snow going on. And this snow is all messed up because I have a new group of crows here and I'm constantly feeding them, so this is all filled with like little crow prints. It's funny. Yeah, it's cold out there. Bert. It was going to be negative 14. I wonder if it got down that far. I need to get a thermometer, an outside thermometer here. I don't have one yet. See what the weather is. Weather PEI. Currently negative 11. It's supposed to get down to negative 14. What is that? What is that for Americanos? That's 12, and it's supposed to be 7. Sorry, I got you. So you're playing Stray, Luke. I asked if that's a computer game. You said yes. If you like cats and some puzzle adventure, you have to check it out. DTM says I like playing the arm wrestling video arcade at arm wrestling arcade at Yippies, and the Flaming Finger game. I work at the boardwalk during summers. Flaming Finger game. That's the one where you're following the LEDs, right? It's like one of the little type games. Like they're only like about a foot wide or something. I think I remember that. It's yeah. And I've done the arm wrestling type games before. I don't know if I know that those work really, like the arm wrestling games and the punching bag ones work really well if you serve alcohol, because then people get drunk and they have to one-up each other. And the arm wrestling games that I've played repeatedly usually involved lots of beer before I played the game. JRC is the same with dance machines. Yeah, I haven't seen dance machines out and around very much. that is like a Dance Dance Revolution is one thing that people have asked me specifically for. So if I run across one that's functioning, I'll probably buy it if it's affordable. It's not as stupid. Like if it's a fair price, I'll probably buy it. I don't know where the hell I'm going to put it, but I think it would be good. We have to kind of rethink what we're doing here a little bit as we have been kind of going on, because the pinball thing was a great idea at first. It let us kind of make our mark and have some conversation, be a conversation piece. But just doing pinball alone, we would have been dead. I mean, we have definitely been better that we brought in more video games and stuff, and I need to swap out. I do have more video games that I could bring in and swap some stuff around. But I need to figure out how many video games or how many pinball machines do I want to leave the floor in exchange for other stuff. We will do fine if we get rid of pinball games. We were Canada's largest. We are no longer Canada's largest because Canada's largest has opened up in, don't remember. They have 75. I think it's a Crypto Bro that has opened it up. It's nothing but like new stuff. It's all new Stearns and new games. That's all they have there. So I think if someone just went, hey, I now have a couple $1 million. I'm going to buy a bunch of games and put them all together. I don't know. I'm making that up. I have no idea what they did. But it seems odd to me that someone would open a large, like their pinball arcade, and only put in brand new Stearns. Like, you're missing out on a whole couple of generations of really fun stuff. But that's me. I'm weird. I'm a weirdo that way. I would never ever think of opening a place called a pinball arcade and not have old electromechanicals in there. Like, it doesn't. It's kind of like saying that you're a motorcycle dealer and half of your dealership is cars. I don't know. That's a terrible analogy, but it seems like you're missing something to call yourself a pinball arcade and not have old ones in. But like I was saying, if we were just pinball, I don't think we'd be doing as well. We have people came in to check us out at first, but we learned very, very early on that some kids, they just do not, like 10, 11-year-olds, they don't sync well with pinball at all. They just don't. They don't care. So we found that those kids would then just sort of kick around the arcade. They get bored. They get destructive. They wouldn't play the game, but they just flipped the flipper really fast. Like, I don't know, try to make it smoke or something. I have no idea. But they had no interest in playing the game, so they were just fucking around breaking stuff. That's when we brought in consoles and a couple of video games. We put in the video games on the other side of the building. That worked. When we brought more video games, that sort of evened things out. Then it was finding a nice balance between the two. Like, we still wanted to be Canada's largest pinball arcade. So having a lot of pinballs on the floor and we had limited space. So it made sense to not bring a bunch of video. But now, I don't think it matters. I think it's better for us to find the games that people are going to come in and play, and they don't necessarily have to be pinball. So the billiards have been great. The darts have been great. I would like to bring in a bagatelle, which is an unusual thing. There probably isn't one in public in Canada. I don't think there's another bar billiards in public in Canada. I haven't been able to find one yet. The air hockey, I think, will be big when we get that up and going. And I would like to get something like a shuffleboard. I think that would be good. Shuffleboard's a big game. So we need to, there's a rebound shuffleboard. It would fit into a row of pinball machines basically, and I think it comes out maybe a foot farther and it's about as wide as Genie, right? It's like about as wide as a big wide body. And you pitch on one side and it bounces off the back and it comes back and your scoring's on the other side. They're pretty cool. So that could be something I could bring in, because that's something that a lot of people could play and enjoy. It doesn't take much. It's pretty easy to know what the objective is, right? The only thing I worry about is the same thing that we have a problem with some of the billiards is little kids. They don't really know what they're supposed to be doing, and they try to hit them as hard as possible, and the balls go flying. I worry about that with shuffleboard pucks, so that might be a problem. Might not be a good thing. Those are heavy. And there's sand, right? There's little bits of sand on the table. We have talked about if we are doing well in a couple of years, I don't foresee us having a problem. I think we'll be doing just perfectly fine in a couple of years. But if it seems like we can afford it, and it happens, if either person on either side of us leaves, we can theoretically take over that space, fix it up, knock a hole in the wall, and have a whole bunch of different stuff in here. So we're thinking about that might be a possibility, and if we do that, what are we going to do? And I like the idea. I would like to bring in foosball. I would like to bring in bubble hockey. There are other types of billiards that we don't really have on the island. And since we brought in these 2 billiard tables, there's a couple of billiard halls on the island, but they have 8-ball, and maybe they have a snooker table. I think there's one snooker table on the island. I think all the other ones have gotten rid of them. But so it'd be fun to have a snooker table. It'd be fun to offer English billiards as a game. And you'd have to set up, you'd have to spend some time explaining how these games work, because I don't really know how to play snooker. I kind of know how to play snooker. I've never really played it. English billiards, same thing. Like I've watched it. I've watched videos on it, and I've watched people play it, but I've never personally played it. It looks kind of fun, but it's different, right? It's not 8-ball. But I think people would get into it. And then I have seen regular billiards, like 6-pocket type billiard tables, but they're not rectangles. There's one that's a circle, there's a triangle one, there's a square one, and you play 8-ball on it. And I love that idea. I think it'd be really cool to have just a round billiards table. You don't have to explain the game. People know the game. They know 8-ball. But now you're playing it on a table that's completely different than anything you've ever played on, and it's like you're playing it for the first time. Like, you know the rules, you know what you're supposed to do, but the shots are all wrong. And I love that idea. I think that's awesome. And then there's rectangle billiards, and then there's an octagon billiards table. So, or bumper pool, octagon bumper pool. So those would be really cool to offer. And then more mechanical games. Skee ball would be fun. Basketball games, bunch of stuff. Like, we could expand out, I think. And if we did something, if we separated the 2 out into 2 very distinct places, and we did alcohol on one side and no alcohol on the other, I think that would work. Whether I want to get into alcohol, I don't know. But that's something where if someone comes in, it's still paid by the hour, right? So if someone comes in and they have kids, it's like, okay, kids have to be on the other side by 8 o'clock. And then here, if you're doing that, you can actually do like gambling machines, because the island has, I think that are they slot machines? Something similar to a slot machine kind of thing. But anybody can put them in. You need the liquor license, and once you have a liquor license, you have to have a certain space for it. kids can't ever go into that area. So if you were doing alcohol, you could do a bar with these silly games. Maybe, I don't know. That introduces a different clientele. So we're kicking around the idea. I'm way behind. DTM says cocktails are nice if you want to sit and rest a drink. Obviously, stand-ups are way better for actual play, though. I think, yeah. I mean, it depends. We have people that sit. They love the kicks machine that we have here, and they just sit and play that. And that's a good game to sit across from each other just because of the way that the play field is. Galaga is on the other one. That's fine. We actually, since we have Kid Nicky is in here in the front, that got a lot of play at the other place. Since we put it here in the front, it almost never gets played. And I should get it out of there. It doesn't. It actually has a little CRT in it, little color CRT, little one too. It's like, I don't know, 11, 12-inch CRT, and it's just sitting there burning all day. I should get it. I should do something. Maybe I could get it over here somehow and just put a regular table over there. And that's something that could go upstairs, right? Like if we have room for it, that would be a great thing for upstairs. My throat is starting to get really tired, and I have to stop talking. So I'm actually gonna say goodnight. I'm sorry I got behind on some of the chats, and I'm sorry I blew up the world last time with the whole stream. But I think I think it's fixed. I think this will work. So that's cool. That's a plus. So we'll try it tomorrow if my voice works, because I'm still getting over that cold. So if I feel like talking a lot, then I'll fire it up tomorrow, and maybe we can play some games if I have the right kind of crowd in here. I don't think Sophia is coming in tomorrow. I had a cold. She got a cold. She got my cold. So today was like her first, feeling like terrible shit day. So if she's like me, she's got 3 days ahead of her of feeling like shit, and then she'll come out of it. So maybe she'll come in if she comes in tomorrow. Maybe we'll play a game if she's. I don't know. We'll see how she's doing, but if not, then I need the right kind of crowd in here for me to be able to play. So we'll see. We'll work it out. But I'll bring in tripods and everything I need to do that if we're gonna do that. So all right, I'm gonna say goodnight. Thanks for coming back on the stream with me. Nice talking to you guys.